Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Fandom Empire Live on a Wednesday night. Reminds me of the old Star Wars Wastelands days when we used to do this sort of thing on a Wednesday night. It's hump night, not hump day. How's it going? I'm Sean. Welcome to the show. We've been intending to do this one for a long time. Always wanted to do it with a round table of people. I mean, in a picture-perfect world, we would just talk extremely openly about all of this, but it would probably get the channel in a lot of trouble and piss a lot of people off. So tonight, we are going to review the Halloween Kills script, no spoilers, from start to finish. Right there. There you have it. In all of its glory. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to break down Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, all the characters, what it's like as a sequel to the original, and what we think of the script. Again, we are just... Even the countdown is long, says Frank. Anyway, basically, we're going to cover as much as we possibly can tonight and have a lot of fun doing it. If you want to support the channel or chime in at any time, feel free to send in a super chat. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. We will read a lot of the chats at the end of this thing. If something catches my eye during it, then I will absolutely read it. But if you want to interrupt at any point, send in a super chat and we will interrupt the discussion. Otherwise, you have to wait towards the end of the show. And yes, I'm feeling quite all right. It's been a day. Big thanks to all you out there who stuck out 4 hours last night. 4 fucking hours, and we still had 30 plus people at the end of it. So, and I think we did north of 700 views just public or just on the launch. That doesn't include anybody watching after the fact. So, without further ado, though, the hosts for this evening, for this roundtable special, this non-spoiler review of the Halloween Kill script. First up, he's the host of the Rick and Morty Fan Show, Kieran. How's it going, man? You're muted, Kieran. And not by me.
All right. Yeah, pretty good. I was feeling like a little odd earlier, but I had a good power nap and got through it. So, earlier I read the Halloween Kill script. So, I'm super fresh on this script now because I read it 7 hours ago.
What version did you read again?
The 117. 17, yeah, that's right. I was going to say 21, but yeah, 117.
Nice.
It wasn't the 90-something page one.
Nice. So Kieran's memory is fresh. So he just read this thing today, where the rest of us, it's been quite some time. Next up, chat mod here at Fandom Empire, Patreon supporter and staff member. He's sadly a Green Bay Packers fan. It's Mr. Matt Whitfield. What's happening, man?
Dude, why do I gotta be sadly? It's better than being Titans fan.
Ugh.
When's the last time y'all went to the Super Bowl?
How did we get 2 Packers fans?
I don't know, man.
Hey.
40%.
No idea.
On Fandom Empire Live, I guess.
No idea. At least the other one's not here.
Zach, it goes lower.
The other one's still probably sleeping from how long we went last night. So, no, it's great to have you, Matt. Wouldn't have done this without you. And last but not least, sporting that yellow hoodie. It's back. It's not black. It's yellow. It's not AC/DC, but oh well. It's Mr. Tommy B.
Jade said it's a sweater, and I'm all like, this is a hoodie. I mean, I have wonderful sweaters I wear other days, but not a yellow one. That should go on the shopping list, though. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I'm wearing a purple T-shirt, so anybody want to fuck with the color purple? I didn't think so. I like purple.
Purple is a great color.
It is a great color. I love it.
I wear purple.
I love it. I dig purple. I could see Kieran wearing
orange and
just
black.
any color. So, better than what?
Orange and black.
Who's orange and black?
Prison
Or
colors.
pewter. I'm sorry, pewter and black.
Isn't it red and black now?
What are they?
I think it's red.
What are
and
they
black
now, Kieran? Pewter?
I think they're still red and pewter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Toronto Freddy's nickname for Tommy B. T Fresh in the house. T Fresh. Oh, I might have to I might have to do that. And big shout out to the Halloween Kills poster in the chat. I have no idea if it's a troll. I thought it was Solid Saturn, but I seen Solid Saturn in here, so maybe he's operating multiple devices. Or maybe, just maybe, Halloween Kills poster is actually Intel Wild. Or maybe it's none of the above. So, Frank Riker says, I feel that a yellow hoodie is required to join the cult of Tommy B. You got a cult, man, you didn't tell me about?
You got to be a tea aficionado, too.
Tea Fresh keeping things from us?
Oh, my goodness. I'd never authorize the Tea Fresh thing. That is not my brand.
It's not your brand? You're not... Diane Urban says, you think they'll bring back the supernatural or mysterious vibe and atmosphere that Michael brings with him like 1978? Well, we said before on this channel that there's something that happens towards the movie that is very towards the end of the movie, pardon me, that is very supernatural-ish. Not the franchise, but supernatural like atmosphere towards the end of it. So, this is going to be fun. This is a fun one. So we're going to break right into it. Again, if you want to interrupt, send in a super chat. Otherwise, bear with us. It might be a while before we get to questions and or comments. Any thoughts here before we start breaking this down, guys? Any thoughts whatsoever?
Well, yesterday you asked me if I would be more or less excited for the movie, and I'm more excited for it right now because I read the script and I have opinions on the script. It wasn't like you'll hear my opinion on the script. However, now that I've read the script, I want to see the movie like tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I felt. It was like,
that worked.
And I read that script, over a year ago now. And when we still thought there was a chance we'd see it last October. So it's been a long fucking time. Long time. And yet here we are. So let's break into this. Let's start off with Frank Riker. Why does Michael and Matt's background have a bulge in his coveralls?
Because he's horny.
That's the
he's horny.
It's the OnlyFans cut.
He just had the Pfizer vaccine.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I don't know. How do you not? Even the action figure has got like a sufficient little bulge in there. Yeah. Like, look.
He's not lacking the testes. And then some.
Screen accurate.
All righty, let's do this, guys. Initial thoughts after completing the script for the first time. We're going to go to Kieran first since he's the freshest. Even fresher than T-Fresh down there.
I would like to, even though we're obviously getting into non-spoilers at all here, I would like to state that my opinion is not going to be swayed by the fact that we're, surrounded by 56 Halloween fans right now. There is a lot of really great things in this script. I enjoyed reading it. It was great. I read all through it in one day, so it didn't get boring. There's a lot of things I'm really excited to see, and there are some things I am not at all excited to see. So I do have a mixed review on it. I'm not like, oh, it's God. It's like, oh my God. Like, there's still some things that I was like, oh, like, I don't know about that. And there's one moment that I'm definitely kind of feeling will be cringy, but there's a lot of great stuff in there. Like a lot of stuff that I am 100% sure that like all 56 people in here right now will probably enjoy. So there's a lot of great and there's a little bit of cringe is my first kind of thought.
Maddie, you waited a long time to get your hands on it. You finally did. What was your initial impression after reading it?
Link, hurry up and come out in the theater, for God's sakes. That was my first reaction. I think when I first read it, and I read it from start to finish, I didn't stop. I went all the way through it. I think I might have read it maybe 2 hours. maybe less.
Yeah, I think mine was an hour and a half.
It was a page turner. I didn't want to stop. I just wanted to keep going. And like you said, if what we read translate on screen, we're probably looking at the best Halloween sequel.
Definitely has the potential to be. Again, the big question is, can it translate from paper to screen? You know, it can have the best script ever, and it could end up being one of the worst Halloween movies if it's not capitalized on properly. So that's definitely a concern for me, because you can't, assume that at all. Tommy B, what were your thoughts? Because I know you were hesitant about reading it, and then you just decided to say fuck it, and you read it, and you killed through it.
It was okay.
You want to give us a little more than that?
It was, Nah. That script was fan-freaking-tastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Cover to cover, it was thrilling. Thrilling describes it. You and I had a brief stint of our initial conversation, maybe shortly thereafter, that it's something that when you pick it up, you're going to just keep going, and once you get a few pages in, you're probably going to finish it, maybe with like a bathroom break. And that's exactly what I did. I went through it in a sitting, basically, and I'm not really a script person. I've read a few in the past, probably just skimmed them mostly. But this kept me engaged and excited and really hopeful for the new film when it comes.
I just want to address, I've seen this in the chat a couple of times. Look, we're not going to distribute the script. That's not what we do. It's not what we're about here. We've had a bunch of people trying to blackmail us and harass us over an end script that we don't even have possession of anymore. Could I? Yeah, but I got 3 pages into it and said, fuck that. And then there's the fake end script out there, just so everybody knows, if you haven't been tuning into the previous episodes. If you read a Halloween end script that has Russellville and a mine shaft and all that, it's bullshit. It's not the actual movie. So in terms of Halloween kill script, it's basically in a lot of places right now. If someone in the chat wants to point you in the right direction, I'm not going to stop that. No spoilers in the chat, please. But yeah, if you want to reach out to someone in the chat and they can point you in the right direction, I have no problem with that. It just won't be us for legal reasons. So my initial reaction was this. Kind of like Matt's, it was like, this has the potential to be the best Halloween sequel, period. I was so high on it. That doesn't mean it's a perfect script. It's a horror movie. It's a slasher. It's not going to be a perfect script. It's not going to win an Academy Award here. We're not talking about Joker. But I thought for a slasher that the script gets deep at times and very meaningful, and it's more than a slasher. And we've been saying on this channel since before we were doing live streams that this is an ensemble film. This isn't let's go follow Laurie for 2 hours and see what the hell she's doing and see how, her and Michael are going to meet up or whatever. It's an ensemble film. It's a film about Haddonfield. It's a film about the characters that you met back in 1978, and then some of the newer characters, obviously. I'll say the one concern I had, and it's kind of a good thing, but, it's conflicting, is after I got done with the flashback, after I got done with the whole script, but specifically when I went back and thought about the flashback, I thought to myself, it would have been really cool for them to make the middle chapter in this trilogy just one big flashback movie. Maybe Michael's story went on for a bit that night. And I know they say he only killed 5 people in Haddonfield, but he could have gone the next town over. I've said this on the channel before. It makes me wish we would have had a whole other movie in 1978. So I do think that's, I do think that goes a long way. Horrid Film says Joker ain't an Oscar-worthy script. I disagree completely with that, but you're entitled to your opinion. That was my initial thoughts on it. Let's start with Act 1. and this shouldn't come as a massive surprise to anybody because we've talked about it on the channel and other people have talked about it, and we've said last night, the flashback in the 92-page version starts on page 3 and ends on page 20. So just Act 1, Kieran. It's freshest in your mind. We talked about it off air, what we consider Act 1. What are your thoughts, your detailed thoughts on the first act of this movie?
The first act of the movie is absolutely spectacular. I don't think I can think of any problems I have with it. Obviously, I wouldn't go into specifics, but it's great. It picks up where you feel like it should pick up, and I can very much visualize what's going to happen. Like, I feel like reading that first part, I could I could picture myself watching it on screen, and like a lot of things that in the script are described in such a way that you can definitely just picture it like right out there. It's great. I'm feeling that I'm going to really love the start of this movie. Obviously, it's dominated a lot by flashback, like you said. 17 pages in that script. I don't remember how many pages in this script flashback, but it seems like they're, like you've described it before. It's kind of a love letter. Like it's giving fans something that they definitely want. Like I said, there's everyone that's in this chat right now is probably going to enjoy that first act. Like, it's pretty awesome. I don't see anywhere where it's going to disappoint. And it really, if at all I had any problems with this script, reading the first act, made sure that I was going to read the whole thing today. Like, reading that first act, it was like, okay, I wasn't going to put it down. Didn't matter. It could have went really disappointing places later, and I still would have finished it because the first act was so good, and I wanted to see, the payoff and everything after I read that first part, which, I mean, it's a script, but like in a book, if you read a book, that first little while needs to hook you, and it definitely did a fantastic job. And I mean, I'm saying the script is awesome. That doesn't mean I'm gonna think that the movie is that awesome in the first act, but I'd say we're likely to get something really good in this first act. Like I can't see how they could screw it up.
Maddie, how about you, man? The first act thoughts.
Well, I'm trying to replay it in my head from my whole reaction. I remember.
It doesn't have to be your immediate reaction. It can be how you feel about the first act now.
How I feel about the first act now, Kieran probably hit. That's what set it in motion. You read that first act, the flashback, and it's like, okay, I'm hooked. Where are we going from here?
Yeah.
And it was like, and because you know there's a flashback, so you're kind of hesitant because you're worried that maybe they'll mess with the ending of 1978 and all this, and so you're just hesitant. And like you said, it's a love letter to 1978 with the flashbacks, with the lighting and everything that they used, the blue light. That I think they even brought back Cundy to help with some of it on blue light for this one, and just that final scene that you see on paper before it goes into the credits. You're like, whoa, the opening credits. So you're just like, wow. So that scene right there and how that ends before it goes in the credits is gonna hook you, and you're just gonna be like, I can't stop.
Killian says, I want to read this. It's a solid point. Even if we read the entire script, there's no telling what parts they'll pick and choose to put in the movie. Good luck to you who really want to read the script, though. More power to you. I don't mind. I don't mind spoilers. It doesn't bother me at all. You just need to understand the dangers of reading a script, or spoilers. And Frank's right. There are other movies other than Halloween Kills on here, but we're also well aware of who our majority audience is. And so we've wanted to do a Halloween Kills script review for a long time, and I was pretty set on having 4 people on to do it. We only had 3 for the longest time. We finally got a 4th, and here we are. Don't worry, there's going to be some people that are probably not thrilled with the lack of Halloween content on the channel in the next month or so. But yeah, no, for sure. I totally get it. I understand. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with being excited. And I know, people are saying, like, Frank, there's plenty of other movies to fill your time, but, like, what new movies are coming out right now, man? Even down in your neck of the woods.
Mortal Kombat in 4 days.
The answer is very few of them. Mortal Kombat,
oh my God.
Godzilla versus Kong. It's still not a normal movie-going experience. And if we weren't in the middle of a global pandemic, or up here in Canada, what feels like the fucking apocalypse, I really think that things would go easier. I think things would go smoother. Things would go quicker. I'm in no rush to see this movie. You see it in October, one way or another, it'll be fine. So, no, we will not be providing a link to the script. That's not how we do things here. Tommy B, your thoughts on Act 1, man?
Act 1 of the Halloween Kills script provides, I don't want to say but I'll say one of the best foundations for a Halloween film to date. It has everything you need. It has a hook. It gives you, background info for kind of just looking forward what's going to happen. It sets up the premise, and you're good to go. You're sucked into it, and you keep going until you reach your respective final page of the script. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and like I said, I just kept on going. In fact, I'm kind of having a hard time right now figuring out what page number it ends on. I was debating moving my computer and picking up my script, but I didn't.
So I would say this, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of eye rolls that I won't be able to see since I can't see all of our viewers. But I think, again, like Kieran iterated earlier, we're talking about the script. We haven't seen the movie, so we can't judge it as a movie. Just judging it as a script. As a script, let's read the Tarantino H script together. Yeah, no, H6 script together. That's a fantastic idea. I don't know if it exists, but there's definitely a story about it in Taking Shape 2. And some other places covered it, Bloody Disgusting. And we're going to do the Michael versus Pinhead Halloween stuff. And yeah, so... anyways, I'll say this about the first act. I think that the first act is the best opening act. Again, just the script. If it translates on screen, it'll be the best opening act of a Halloween movie ever, period. That includes the original. That includes part 4. The opening act is just fucking balls to the walls insane. Absolutely love it. Again, though, I'm scared because it's like, can they translate how good it is in the script on screen? Because that's important. To have it so solid in that script, you want to see it translate on screen. And if you don't, it's going to be a bummer. And it'll, for those yeah, go ahead.
I have a comparison here.
Yeah.
That might help out. So, I mean, I don't know how many people are big Marvel fans here. I know we have some and we don't have some. But if you think about the opening of the third Avengers movie,
Infinity War,
where just a whole bunch of shit goes down that you would want to see, that you love, like a whole bunch of great stuff happened right at the start of that movie, and then it was like, okay, now this is the fucking movie. Like, that's how this seems to open to me. It's like it shows you all these great things, and then after that it's like, and now this is where we're fucking going. And then it was like, woo, okay, like I want to read that. Like I really want to get into this. And that's what popped into my head. Like when I saw the third Avengers movie, I remember being like, holy shit, like I can't, like I was in the theater, but I was like, oh my God, this movie's going to be so good. Like right after the start of that movie. And that's kind of the same feeling I got reading the script that's the vibe I'm going to get when I watch the movie.
Very much so. There's a lot that happens. Our boy Million, who's been on the channel for a long time, says nothing happened in the H4 opening. Quit reaching. You're nuts, man. You're out of your mind if you think nothing happened at the beginning of H4. The beginning of H4 is fantastic, incredible. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. No, I think it's again on paper the best opening sequence ever. So again, this isn't a spoiler, and if anybody on the chat wants to cry spoiler, then I don't know what to tell you because it's not. And someone said in the chat, I don't know who it was, it's passed by now, but how can you do a script review for a movie that isn't out because the script has been leaked for well over a year now? That's how. Anyway, and by the way,
if we can't do it, then 60 people are watching us do nothing.
I was going to say, and by the time it's all said and done, there'll be probably over 1,000 people to watch this. And again, nobody's forcing anybody's hand to sit through this. If they don't want to, then you don't have to. We respect that. Not everybody wants to do something like this. But considering we've waited this long to do this, and a bunch of other YouTube channels had to get out there and do it fucking a year ago, basically, I'm gonna be quite okay with doing it now. So let's talk about Michael escaping. We're not going to talk about how he escapes and give details, but obviously Michael escapes the fire. That happens. Michael doesn't die, and then you get little kid, Danielle Harris running around as the killer. That's not Halloween Kills. What did everybody think about how Michael escapes the fire without spoiling anything? Kieran.
I think you kind of got my hopes up on that it was something really amazing. But it sounds like it's going to be a badass scene. It sounds like it'll be, well, man, it's hard not to spoil things. It's going to be something we haven't seen from Michael before, I don't think, in a way. I'm going to say that it's all right, though. You know what? I'm going to say it's all right. When I think of it, it's not exactly what I wanted. But it's definitely going to be cool. I wouldn't have done it that way.
No? Well, once the movie's out, we'll have to talk about how you would have done it. Maddie, what do you think about how Michael escapes?
I'm trying to skim through it right now because I was trying to remember some of it, but I do remember kind of like, I mean, could have been, was it pretty good? Yeah. Could have been better. Yeah. But I would have gone about it a completely different way. That's just me. But I mean, I was okay with how they he escaped. It's not gonna make or break it for me. Right after you see in the flashback.
Tommy B.
It was okay.
It was okay.
It could have been much more thunderously exciting, but what we got was good, I would say.
The way, how do I put this? The way the script depicts that whole scene, it sounds like it's shot incredibly well using some unique filming methods. When you read the script, that's the feel you get from it. All I would say is it shows Michael's pretty smart to survive the way that he did. He's not just some clueless idiot going around killing, as much as people want to believe that. You needed some brains to survive the way he does, and he does, and I liked it. Let's move on to Act 2 here, guys, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on this. I know people are like, well, this is going to be a 4-hour stream. No, we'll be off here in about probably 40 minutes time or so. Kieran, just thoughts on the second act, man. I know you sort of have mixed feelings about the script. I'll say this before you go. The second act is, for me anyways, the weakest act of the movie.
It's definitely the weakest part. It started off in a way that I was kind of, so the other day I was telling you that I didn't like the mob part of it. And I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that, but I had problems with the idea that a mob is going to come after Michael. And all the concerns that I had are still there. None of them went away. And surprise, the story was about what you told me it was about, because it's already come out that's what it's about. So big surprise, but I feel like you kind of steered me in a way to say, don't worry, it'll go in a way that you don't be worried yet. But then I read it, and I'm still worried that it's going to go kind of how I feel it's going to go, and I won't like some of that. I
think the problem with that, though, is
obviously how it's done on screen is going to be a big thing, because how it's done on screen is going to change the tone. But the tone that I'm getting from the second act is not at all what I want to see from a Halloween movie in almost any, regardless of the story. I feel like the tone changes in a way that I'm not really all that big on. But it's definitely a thing that's personal to me. I think other people will be, half and half on it. It's definitely not the greatest part of any script. It wasn't it wasn't gold. It wasn't, none of the gold in this movie I think is found in the middle. But I read through all of it really quickly, so it wasn't like I was getting bored or anything like that. I don't want to drive people crazy and say that you're going to be snoozing in the middle of the movie. That will not happen.
It's really hard to live up to that first act, though. Regardless of what way they take it. That's entirely
true. That's entirely true. But yeah, you won't be sleeping through it. It won't be boring. It's just, it's not exactly, this is where the movie goes, not exactly where I would like it to go. And I think that, as a fairly new Halloween fan, I think I might be in the minority about this anyway. So,
Maddie, do you think that the second act is the weakest in the movie? And if so, why?
Weaker than the first and the third, yes. Could have been better by all means, but I gotta disagree with Karen. I mean, I know he wasn't big on the whole mob, but when you really look at what happened, 1978, 40 years later, he does it again. This is a small town.
Yep.
That, I mean, everybody knows each other, so everybody's gonna get in arms. I mean, 2018 was a horror movie, but it was it was about trauma and what can it do to you 40 years later? How can it affect you? And I think that's what they're going with Kills. Is you got this small town up in arms. We're not going to let this happen again. We're not going to let what happened in 78 and early tonight happen again. So you got this group and family coming in arms. Yeah, they're going after Michael, and it might be not your what you expect depiction. I mean, of a depiction, but where else are you going to go with it?
For me, the reason why I'm on board with the mob is I understand why the mob gets together. I totally understand why they're doing what they're doing. And if I'm right, the part Kieran's probably most cheesed about is something that the mob does. So that's all I'll say on that. Tommy B, Act 2, is it the weakest? Yay, nay?
I guess that's fair. I'd be lying if I said I ever really compared the acts side by side and said this one's the best, this one's the worst, because I think it's pretty cohesive as a whole. But yeah, if I had to pick them out like that, I'd say the Act 2 is the lesser of the three, but still good.
Million says, as a fairly new Halloween fan, that explains a lot. Million, bud, I know you've been around the channel for a bit and watched a bunch of our stuff, and I know we've disagreed on things in the past, but you understand that the reason franchises survive is not by keeping the same old fans, but developing new fans. Yes.
Well, I don't think is Million like an old fan around a lot. I don't think I've.
He used to be around before we ever started live streaming. He'd comment on a lot of the pre-produced videos.
I'm getting that idea. So maybe he doesn't understand that, or Millie. I guess it could be a guy or a girl.
Byron, I will say that you are very close. Very close. But yeah. I don't. For me, yeah, it's the weakest in this movie, and yet still, in my opinion, on paper, stronger than a lot of middle acts in Halloween movies. Again, though, the first act is so damn good, and I even really like the third act, that I felt like the second act was doomed to not be as good, because, I mean, if it was, then we're probably talking about one of the best horror movies of all time. And I don't think we're talking about that with Halloween Kills, but I do think it's going to be really good. Third and final act in the movie, gents. How does everyone feel about the final act? A whole shitload happens in it. There's the one moment where, and we've talked about it on the channel, and some of the cast and crew have talked about it, where they very much introduce supernatural elements back into Halloween. And yeah, just how's everyone feel about the third act, and specifically the very end of the film, the last shot that we see? Kieran?
The third act is a mixed bag to me. I love parts of the ending. There's part of the ending I don't love. So I mean, just by saying that, you know, that I liked it more than I disliked it, because I said part that I don't like and parts that I do like. I think there's a lot of room here for some great acting, which you don't get in all horror movies, of course. Some of them are just, you know, by virtue of being cool and fun and action and gore, and like there's not always room in there for some great acting, but there is some room for some great acting. There's some surprises. There's lots of fantastic things in the end. But this is where it really is going to hit. Like, the movie is so going to hinge on the end for me and how it gets pulled off. Because if they give more time to one aspect, it's going to be good to me. And if they give more time to another aspect to me, then it's going to be just pretty good. It's going to be good to great. I think the movie's going to be good to great regardless. But where they put the emphasis and how hard it hits and how good the acting is and how good they pull it off, the parts that I like, is really going to hinge on whether this is a good movie or a great movie. There's definitely some awesome stuff in the end here. There's definitely some supernatural elements that come out here, which makes you wonder what's going to happen in Ends. Like, it really changes what could happen in Ends, to be honest. So that's fantastic. That's something about reading the script. I kind of fairly had an idea of where I wanted Ends to go. But now I'm completely open on where Ends can go. Like, I have no idea where Ends can go except for, you know, the obvious setup that happens that you guys would, you know, understand. But yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, and it's gonna make the movie. I think the end is gonna make the movie.
What about the very last thing we see? We just had somebody in the chat. Where is it here? Evan, the movie guy, says the third act is fucking awesome, but sadly it fizzles out at the very, capital letters, end. I very much agree with that. Like, I borderline hate the last thing we see.
I'm okay with it. It has to be pulled off right. I'm okay with it.
Maddie?
I just said that to disagree with you. I actually hate it, but like You were like, what do you think, Karen? I was like, wait, what did he say? I'm just going to say the opposite. No, I don't think it's great. It's not the part that I love that I really want them to pull off great, but I'm okay with the end. I'm okay with that very, very last thing.
Maddie, third act, what do you think, man?
I'm okay with the very, very end but it really depends on where they go with it and ends. Because if they don't do the end of ends right, the very end of kills right, then starting ends, it's just not going to have the same effect. But as a third act, I want to. It didn't hold a candle to the first, but I think Kieran's right. It's going to dictate where the movie goes. If it's successful, if it's a great movie or if it's not. The delivery of what we see with everything and how it's shot. I mean, I think you said, I think Sean, you did say the connection we did have that saw it at the
test screening.
The viewing,
yep.
The test screening says it's fairly accurate to what we've read.
Yep.
I think, yeah. Yep. So, how they really made Michael just pissed off, and I saw someone in here earlier say this movie's Michael's revenge story. Kills is.
Yeah.
And ends is going to be Lori, Allison, and Lori and the Strode family revenge story. So, delivery, how it's put on screen at the end of the day is it going to be good? I think it will be. I don't see any reason to doubt it. I think David Gordon Green. Brain fire. Yeah, David Gordon Green. I think he's proved with the first one. He pulled us back in to love that franchise again with what he did. For the most part, there was some stuff that he could have left out. And if there's, I can't wait to see if there's when the big box set comes out, that there's extra scenes and to see what didn't get put in with this movie. But going, like I said, delivery, how's it going to project on screen? How is it acted out? Because if you miss on this, this movie is going to be like, oh, this is nice. I mean, they have some awesome flashback scenes, and that's about it. And that's my only slight worry.
Valid points, man. Valid points. Tommy B, your thoughts on the final act of this movie, and specifically how it absolutely ends.
So I want to kind of interject a little bit with what Matt said. Matt said that it depends on how ends is going to go. And when it comes to these films, I'm of the mind I like to look at them as individuals. Yes, there's value in looking at them together, especially since this is a cohesive trilogy. But let's be for real here. I like H2O. I don't really like the movie that comes after it. It's okay. But yeah. If I can't look at H2O without the other movie, well then H2O is ruined. But if I can, H2O to me is a good movie. Having said all of that, I really like the ending of this movie. I really, really like it. I think it's going to be extremely powerful.
Hang on, the ending or the final act?
I guess I mean the final act.
Okay.
The absolute ending is like the last few shots, like we talked about. I think it was yesterday, maybe a few days ago. I feel like the last few shots could have been, a couple of other options that we had. It wasn't my first choice, but you get what you get and you don't get upset. So could have been better, but I think overall the story that gets told and wrapped up is going to be very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Frank Record said, I hope this movie isn't all blue balls by getting us all excited, then end like, what the fuck was that? I hate to say it, but that sounds exactly what this is. It sounds like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then, like, to me, the ending of movies are so important. And I don't know what they were thinking. And I know some people are like, well, you can't judge the ending until you see ends. And, you know, maybe, but at the same time, I still think there's a better way to end it than how they end the last thing we see. We'll see if that ended up being changed or not, but I don't believe it did. The third act's great. Don't blink. Don't fucking blink, and pay extremely close attention to everything you see, because you could miss some real important stuff from the sounds of the script. Again, we're talking about the script, not the movie. All right, gents, this is what we're going to do for characters here. I want everybody to give me 2 characters after reading the script that they're most excited to see and why. Again, without spoiling anything, the 2 characters you're most excited to see and why.
That's hard. You could have told us that before.
I'll go first. I'll buy you time. I'll go first. You all have some time here. I've been a bit preoccupied today, unless some people have forgotten that. So anyway, for me, the 2 characters that stand out the most in this movie that I'm most excited to see, the first one is Tommy Doyle, because the story that they choose to tell with him is not what I think most people are expecting. I think, it's weird because from what I've heard, it really sounds like his role in the movie was performed extremely well. Why is the actor's name slipping my head? Someone help me out here. Breakfast Club guy.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. So very excited for him. And then the other one, again, I don't know if everybody's going to love what happens with Tommy, because some of his scenes could go one way or another, but it sounds like the performance is there. And, so we'll have to wait and see. And then my other one, I'm going to cheat here. It's a combination of 2 characters. It's either Cameron, believe it or not, from Halloween 18, the guy that everybody hates, who, in my opinion, has an intriguing arc in this film, and definitely has some character building moments. And the other one would be Hawkins. So, like, if I had to do 3, I'm going Hawkins, Cameron, and oh my God, Tommy. Hawkins, Cameron, and Tommy. Kieran, who are your 2?
You're a dick.
Why am I a dick?
Because you picked 3, and the last 2 were my 2.
So, okay, well, why? Why for you?
So, like, I could have brought up a new thing, but now I'm just, like, looking like I'm following you.
Is that a bad... Do we have to disagree all the time?
Yes. You have to... You know what? My new picks. Hawkins and Cameron were my picks. Cameron for pretty much the same reason as you said. He definitely has some character development, or you could see what happens in the first movie, I think, did something to him. And I think that as much as he was a dick in the first one and people didn't like him, people didn't like him because he was not likable. Like, he was like, he that was his job, you know? Like, in wrestling, if you hate the guy, if you just hate the guy in wrestling and he's the bad guy, then he did his fucking job, right?
It's funny you mentioned that, because one of the big wrestling tropes is when you, like, really hate a heel, right?
Yeah.
And, like, you can't stand them. And they find a way to get you to like that guy. And for me, that's Cameron in Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
To a T.
Yeah, no, I think the character shows more growth than, like, horror movies don't normally end up giving you big character development other than the main character, because it's not It's not always story driven, depending on which horror movie you're talking about. But usually the characters are kind of the same, and then they die. They don't they don't grow. They just die. So this character seems pretty intriguing, and Hawkins a lot because I just really love the actor, and I'm excited to see more. And you get to see a different side of Hawkins in this one. It's even like, even in seeing a different side of him, he basically mentions there's a different side to him. Like he really gives you a little bit of an insight, and you get to see some background from the character. And I think that he'll be something that makes the movie not so straightforward. It's not. He gives a lot of parts in it that are going to kind of like, I don't want to say like offset the pace, but it's not like, all one pace. It's not all one thing. And he kind of adds an extra dimension.
I think one of the reasons why I like Cameron so much in Halloween Kills too is, and same goes for Hawkins, is when I sat down to read the script, as many of the details that I had already had on the movie, I wasn't expecting the reaction. Sorry, I know there's a delay in the audio here. I'm not sure what's going on. I wasn't expecting the reaction that I had to it. I wasn't expecting them to get the roles that they got. Super chat in from Santino. I don't believe Santino has ever sent in a super chat. And right out of the gate, he has sent a $20 super chat in to support the channel. Greatly appreciated, man. We're going to read your question here in a second. I just want to remind everybody, if you want to interrupt at any time, send in a super chat. We'll interrupt the show. But if you can't afford it, the easiest way that you can support this channel and help us all out here, if you want to see more content, and Freddie's been saying it all show, Matt said it all show, take the next 3 seconds to click the button that looks like this, the like button. Click the like button, guys. 70+ people in here. I'm sure some of the trolls are in here just doing their homework for when they want to blast us with more, so they're not going to click the like button. But the rest of you guys who are tuning in, it takes 3 seconds to click the like button. Help us out so other people can find the content too. Santino says, just wanted to drop by and show some love to one of my favorite channels on YouTube. Can we expect to see more Myers stalking? I felt that was one thing lacking in 2018, and I think I can emphatically say abso-fucking-lutely in this movie. There is way more in this movie than in the last movie, and in both timelines. Kieran?
On that question?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to give everybody a chance to answer quickly.
Yes, more than 2018. And that's one of my favorite things as well. Like that's pretty spot on for me. Like I enjoy, one of the things I enjoy that really, popped in the first Halloween movie when I saw it, because I saw I saw Friday the 13th and like most of the other horror movies I saw before Halloween. And when I got to Halloween, that's one of the things that the camera angles, like everything that they used in Michael stalking his victims, and sometimes being there and not even killing the people, just walking around in the background, was some of the things that I was most attracted to of the Halloween series, and Halloween is my favorite horror movie now. So that's an awesome super chat.
Matt, quickly here, just because we're tight on time.
As far as my 3 characters?
Well, both. First, the super chat question, if you believe there's more stalking, and then your 2 characters.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. Oh God, yes. There's no question about it. I think that's what 2018 was like, to lay the foundation for kills, and to go back to what makes Michael, as far as the stalking and the intimidation and all that stuff. So yeah, there's not doubt in my mind that he's gonna be a lot more stalking this go around. As far as my characters, Hawkins is definitely one of them. Tommy, and I really want to see what they do with Lindsay, because the rumors you hear was she came on, did her job, and knocked it out of the park and did really well.
She busted her nose.
Yeah,
busted her nose and worked through it.
It worked for, yeah. So, I want to see what interaction with certain characters, that Hawkins might have in this movie, and I really want. I think that's the most thing. Because I'm like Kieran. I love Will Patton as an actor. Remember the Titans. Armageddon. Still probably his two best movies in my opinion. I do think. I really want to see, like with Lindsay. I want to see how they play her out in this, because we already know what they've done with Tommy. It's probably, like everybody said, Tommy. I mean, that Anthony Michael Hall knocked it out of the park. Was perfect for the role. Was he in the same exact age he would be in real life? Same age that Tommy Doyle would be grown up. So with the age that Jamie is.
Hang on, let me interject you here, just because I don't want some false information spreading. Melissa Todd, Lindsay Wallace is in Halloween Kills. That's well known by now, well established. Lindsay Wallace is in Halloween Kills.
I think you can IMDb and you'll see the name there, right?
For sure, 110%. You gave both characters there, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Hawkins, and Tommy and Lindsay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was my three.
Tommy, give me.
And I'm really interested with how they with Cameron too. So he'd be more of like an honorable mention, but his character development, I think, could be crucial by the time Ends comes around.
Tommy, give me your two characters, man. And I know Michael Myers would be an easy one, but I was intentionally avoiding picking him.
Ooh,
he sucks in this movie.
Could you imagine? Or like Toronto Fright, Michael's gonna walk around Haddonfield and hand out Christmas stockings.
He's not even really in the movie, as far as I remember. He's like maybe 5 minutes screen time.
Yes, because you know the screen time from the script.
You can get an idea, though. You definitely can.
I don't know.
Then again, Darth Vader was only in 9 minutes of A New Hope, so.
So yeah, I'm totally on board for Tommy Doyle being on the list, and everyone has submitted good names, so I won't pick them. One name we haven't chosen yet is Laurie, and this might be a bit of an interesting reason why. Because what's the best non-spoiler way to say this? The role differs a little.
I'd say it differs substantially.
Okay, well then fine then. Just go all in, Sean. The role differs substantially. And I'd like to see how that's going to look.
Well, it's already fairly public knowledge that she was only on set for 9 days.
Okay.
And we've talked about it on the channel at length before we ever started doing live streams. Yeah. Is that Laurie in Halloween Kills is not the focal point. Dare I say, not even part of the main ensemble. She's there and present and obviously a big part of the story, but she's not the focal point.
So I'd definitely like to see what that's going to end up looking like, how the character is going to be portrayed and such.
Frank says, I can tell you what pisses me off about the teaser, though. It's when we see Laurie perfectly fine at one moment, but on a stretcher in another. She must have a Wolverine healing factor. I'll be honest, and I don't want to dive too far into this.
Adrenaline.
Well, adrenaline, maybe, but like it's one of the reasons why I go, well, how the hell is Halloween Ends going to be on the same night? When you look at everything that's happened in the first two movies, it's like, I don't really want to dive any more into it. So, Frank also said, I like this question from Frank. Here's a question. By reading the script, can you guys figure out what type of Carpenter music should be at any point of the scenes that make an impact? Well, not necessarily. I wouldn't say just Carpenter, but like I feel like that flashback sequence is going to borrow from the first couple of Halloween movies. They may re-record stuff, but I think you're going to have that.
Yeah, it'd be real nice if they like remaster them or something.
And then in the third and final act, there's just this one batshit insane sequence where I just sit there and go, that's where you play The Shape Haunts Allison. That and I think it would be perfect for it. So they're the two that stick out in my mind, anyways. All right, gents. Before we hand it over to the chat to finish off the show, give me your rating out of 10 Halloween Kills script, Kieran.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Kieran's giving an 8. By the way, now's the time for Q&A, guys. We are going to do about 14 minutes of Q&A, so line up the questions, and we'll answer as much as we possibly can. We won't be able to answer everybody, so again, you can support the channel, send in a super chat, we'll answer them, and we'll get to as many of the normal questions as we can. Matt, what are you giving it out of 10?
It's funny, I'm not as much of an optimist as Kieran is. He gave it an 8, but I'm gonna give it a strong 7. I'm just not that 8 because my worry is how the middle sets up the end.
Yeah,
that's why.
Actually, you know what? Interestingly enough, we got this. We knew we were going to get this question, and my answer was definitely 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I said good to great, and good is probably a 7, and great is probably a 9. Mm-hmm. So I went in the middle, and you guys kind of convinced me. I'm even more excited talking about it now than I was when we started. So
yeah.
Tommy B, what are you giving it, man?
I'll give it a 8. I think that's fair.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Well, what the frickin' do? Aren't you special?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5, but I gotta say, like, if 9 is great, then I can't give it a 9, because I do feel like there's areas, specifically the end. Like, I don't know how you put together a script so good. Maybe a little weaker in the middle, but overall, a really fucking good script, and definitely the potential to be the best Halloween sequel ever. And just be like, okay, well, I can't figure anything else, so I'm gonna write this down for the end, and it just drives me nuts. Like, it really makes my stomach turn a bit what they choose to end on. Because you could have ended on a cliffhanger, and they, some people might view it as a cliffhanger. Right? Cliffhangers are, in my opinion, subjective. What one person considers a cliffhanger, someone else might consider, some people consider Broom Boy from The Last Jedi a cliffhanger. I don't know if you do, Kieran. But for me,
what?
Broom Boy from The Last Jedi, they consider that ending a cliffhanger because, well, what next? But I don't consider that a cliffhanger.
I considered it a cliffhanger.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, cliffhangers are subjective. It's not concrete. So, at least sometimes it's not concrete. Dean Renner sends in a $5 super chat. He says, most looking forward to Karen and Lindsay Wallace. I've heard really good things about them. I will say this. I've heard nothing but incredible things about Judy Greer in this movie, and that if you found her annoying, and if you found Cameron annoying in H-18, you're probably going to like both of those characters a lot better in Halloween Kills. So I can see that. I can totally see that. All right, let's get to the questions here. Zach says, depending on Halloween Kills translates from script to film, do you think it could get just as positive, if not better, reviews than the 2018 film? No, because generally as more films come out, people review them more critically. And I think Halloween Kills is probably going to end up being a better movie. I'm pretty positive about that. But I think critically it won't be as good, and because of everything that's going on in the world, it won't be as successful financially either. Kieran?
I think yes, because I think that this movie is going to appeal to casual fans more than the previous installment.
Matt?
What's that question again? I was coming in. I was coming in and out of my earphone for some reason, so it's kind of.
Do you think Halloween Kills will be received better than Halloween 2018?
If what we read translate on screen, oh hell yes.
Tommy?
Not a doubt in my mind. Yeah.
Tommy B in the house.
Do I feel will translate well to script on screen?
No. Do you think it'll be better received than Halloween 2018 was?
I don't think it's going to get as much popularity because it was launched. 2018 was launched after a longer hiatus, so there was that going for it. And plus, with the state of things, there's that going against it. Overall, though, I think the fan community, there's a strong chance that it itself is going to embrace this movie better than 2018.
I'm going to answer this question, but I'm going to answer it very carefully. I know we've addressed it on a Patreon stream, so I want to be careful what I say here. Pumpkin Man Forever, a longtime supporter of the channel, says, does Michael go anywhere near the hospital in this one at all, at least outside? I'm going to answer it by saying this. A lot of people say, oh my God, Haddonfield Memorial's back, so automatically they assume, oh my God, it's going to be Halloween 2 all over again. This movie in no way is Halloween 2, is the best way that I can answer that. Read into that what you will. What else do we have here? Sorry, my chat's being kind of funny here. Byron Weaver, will Allison and Karen have more focus in Halloween Kills? This should be an easy one to answer, guys. Karen, I'll let you answer it.
Sorry, do they have more focus?
Yes, in Halloween Kills than Halloween 2018.
I don't think so.
You don't think Karen and Allison have more focus?
They are the focus of the film?
Like, okay, I think the way he's wording it is, do Karen and Allison have more focus in this film than in 2018?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Agree. Completely agree in every way. So it's Laurie who has less focus in this, and they've kind of made no bones about, saying that. Dean says, do we know how many flashback scenes we're getting in Kills? There's two. There's two. If there's any more that pop up, then something's missing, and that'd be a surprise to us. There's two, and I'm only saying there's two because it's already pretty well, known out there. So there is two. Halloween 2 is great, but Kills is not H2, says Solid Saturn. Yep. Toronto Freddy says Halloween 2.5. Oh, man. That's cute. That's real cute. Frank Riker says, does anyone mention Ray? It would be funny if they didn't. I don't really look at that as a spoiler. I don't care if anybody gives that away. I'm trying to remember. Look, Kieran, you just read it today. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Ray's brought up extremely briefly. And that's it.
I don't remember that, to be honest. I don't remember them mentioning that at all.
You're right, Sean.
Yeah, I don't want to say how, but it should be pretty obvious. If you go back and watch 18 and figure out, who knows about Ray and who doesn't, should be pretty obvious why he comes up.
I forgot who Ray was originally.
Allison's dad.
Yeah.
No, oh, yeah. Definitely then.
I get that.
Allison's daddy.
Yeah, I'm getting confused as well. That definitely happens.
Oh, man. Toronto Freddy says, what? Michael's going to flash people in each kills?
Sweet.
Oh, man. Flinner says, will Halloween Kills be as good as Rob Zombie's masterpieces of cinema? I have no doubt that Halloween Kills could come out and be a terrible translation from script to screen and still be far better than Rob Zombie's movies.
What movies are you talking about?
Rob Zombie's Halloween movies.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Yes, they are terrible, so it's hard. Yeah. That's the bar very low.
Very much so. Very, very
like
much so.
Resurrection.
I'd be comfortable in saying that I probably like the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie more than anyone else here. So
the Halloween
still
Kills
bar pretty
poster.
low.
I'm coming soon, Oscar. Yeah, I don't know if soon's the word still, the last I heard. I think that soon might be I don't know. I think soon is still getting your hopes up. But I could be wrong. Again, the last thing we heard from any of our people was May things may, all capital letters, be looking up in regards to the poster. So May maybe, but even then, I still think June's a shot.
Well, I remember I actually went and looked today, or was it yesterday? The trailer for Kills came out for 18 came out June 3rd. So.
Yeah, but you can't look at that anymore, right? Because the world's not in the same place. So the world's not even close to being in the same place it was then. Frank Riker says, are you guys chunky or smooth peanut butter penis? Well, I thought you were going to say just chunky or smooth peanut butter. I was going to go chunky, man. Definitely chunky. But I
don't need little chunks of peanuts in my dick.
No. Alrighty. Final question from me to all you guys here on the roundtable. Appreciate you guys doing this tonight. How do you feel Halloween Kills is as a sequel to Halloween 2018? For me personally, give you guys a second to think about that. For me, it works as a sequel, and if there's one thing the script really does get well, is it really does feel it's that same night. You know, you don't really have to, how do I put it? You don't have to, really stretch your imagination to believe it's the same night, and I think that's the most important part.
I'm thinking that not only, obviously I haven't seen anything at all about Halloween Ends, but I feel like this is going to be definitely, it's a great sequel, and I think it's going to lead directly into the next movie. I don't think it's going to be a large chunk of time between anything. It's all going to feel like you could probably watch it all in one sitting when all's said and done, if they go anywhere near, unless they really go off the deep end in Halloween Ends. But yes, I think it's a great sequel, and I think it's definitely it's going to be good. It's going to be good as a sequel. I think it's great.
Maddie?
It's all about continuity to me. And like you said, to have that feeling that it's the same night, maybe 30, 40 minutes later, but still the same night and carries on. We've heard the rumblings that David Gordon Green has said, this is his Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
That bar is like up. You say that, and that kicks that bar up here.
I wish he wouldn't have said that, though. Let's be real.
I know.
It's like Star Wars fans when a new movie comes out. Oh, will it be as good as Empire? Let me answer that for you. No, probably not. Almost impossible. So I don't like that he threw that comparison out, but he did. He absolutely did.
So it's like setting the bar so high, and anything less is a failure. And I don't sense failure from this at all. So is it going to be a worthy sequel? Oh, hell yeah. Nice. It's going to be a worthy sequel. Is it going to be better than some of the original sequels, like Sean's favorite 4, Kieran's favorite Resurrection, and Tommy B's favorite H2O? No. It's going to blow past that, but it's going to be a Halloween sequel worthy that we've deserved as a fandom of those movies.
All right, I see the last question I'm going to ask in the chat, in the chat, unless there's any more super chats. Tommy, is it a worthy sequel to Halloween 2018?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if we could have realistically asked for a better one.
Agreed, especially with horror movies, because you can be the biggest horror movie fan in the world, but you still got to be able to admit when they're bad horror movies. Jason X is a fucking dreadful horror movie. You can enjoy loving watching it. There's nothing wrong with loving watching Jason X or Freddy vs. Jason. But they're terrible movies,
Leprechaun.
Oh man.
Leprechaun, there's some I'm not ever telling anybody it's the greatest piece of cinema. I know what I'm watching.
Absolutely. Final question here, gents, from Santino. Hi, fellas. Nice show. What character steals the show in Halloween Kills. Any one character that steals the show. For me, this is super easy. I didn't use him before. I'm going to use him now. The answer is the Shape, the Boogeyman, Michael Myers. If the script translates to on screen, you have never seen Michael Myers like this before in any Halloween movie. Kieran? I know I took the cop-out answer, but I'm sticking to it.
That's what I would have went with too, and I don't even have another answer because everything else is so, like you said, it's
go
so
with it then.
Ensemble.
Like, do you agree that this is like Michael's like big show? Like this is his star. I mean, he's already fucking stardom, but like, and he's already had a coming out party. But like, I don't think you could ask any more from Michael Myers than what we get in this film.
Well, I mean, you made a comparison earlier where, you know, like Darth Vader was rarely seen in the first, and, you know, he was known as one of the greatest villains in all of cinema. But, like, he surely showed up later. Like, he definitely came out and showed his claws later. And, yeah, I think you're spot on with the idea that this is going to be a little bit. I mean, it's hard to say it's a coming out party or it's whatever. It's his big show because it's his fucking movie franchise. But yeah, you see things that you haven't seen before. I mean, I know we've said already that there's going to be lots of kills. There's going to, bodies are going to pile up. There's going to be lots of gore. Like we've said this stuff before. It's He's definitely going to show up. He's definitely going to show up for this one. So I can't give it to anyone else because everything else is pretty spread out among characters.
Before the other two... Oh, sorry, Matt, 1 second. Before the other two go, I'm going to steal Kieran's wording here. Kieran just brought up Vader and Empire and all that. Michael Myers is as impactful and good in Halloween Kills as Darth Vader is in The Empire Strikes Back.
I can agree with that. But if I was going to use somebody else other than the Shape, I would probably say Tommy.
Yeah. I'm really high on what Tommy does.
I agree.
Tommy agrees with Tommy. Tommy agrees with Tommy.
Last Jedi is a great movie. Who cares what you think? No, I was joking.
There's a lot of people that love The Last Jedi, and I respect them for it. All right. Well, gents, that's going to do it. That's the show. All right. That is the show.
I don't think, did Tommy get a say on that thing?
He said Tommy.
Oh, Tommy said Tommy.
I just said I agree. Yes.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Tommy said Tommy.
Tommy would say Tommy.
Of course.
Fun one. Glad we finally did it. Got it out of the way. Did it in an hour, 20 minutes. Still involved the fans. Greatly appreciate everybody that came out and did their part tonight and enjoyed it without being spoiled, and hopefully we didn't cross any lines for too many people. I think it was important to not cross those lines and not give away spoilers, and I think we did the best we could without being able to give a full fucking review, which you'll be able to hear in October. So Kieran, where can everybody find you at, man? What's next for you?
I mean, I guess you can find me here like every fucking day now.
This has been a crazy week, yeah.
No, it's great. Actually, after reading the script, I love coming on tonight. And I love the chat tonight. The chat was great tonight. You can find me on Instagram at Kieran_FE. You can find me on Twitter at Kieran Gogan or at the Rick and Morty Fan Show. You can find me on my page, Rick and Morty Fan Show. You can find me on the Fandom Empire Den, or you can just add me to Facebook. Like, one of your names pops up, just let me know if Pumpkin Man Forever wants to add me on Facebook. Maybe let me know that your name is Pumpkin Man Forever there, because I won't know if John
I got him.
Smith comes and tries
I
to
got
add
him
me.
on Facebook. I'd be able to tell you.
That happened earlier today. Someone was like, "Hey, man," and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And it turns out it was like someone who has a different name on what. Anyways, yeah, add me on Facebook. I love friends.
Matt, where can everybody find you at, man? Thanks for doing this tonight.
Yeah, no problem at all. You can find me on Facebook under the same name. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Whitfield 52 for that awesome Green Bay Packer linebacker number that used to be there but it's no longer there. But yeah, you can find I'm in the fan. I'm in the den. So commenting after like come hit me up. We'll BS, drink some beers.
Tommy B, where can everybody find you at, broski? It's surely in that yellow hoodie, that sexy-ass yellow hoodie. Scrumptious.
Thank you.
Big boy.
Everyone can find me hanging out at the Fandom Empire Den. And when I'm not at the Fandom Empire Den, I'm often on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
He's
all right.
not doing that. He's telling everybody go fuck yourself.
It's appreciated, man. Don't forget, tomorrow night, no, you're good. Tomorrow night, we have Fandom Empire Live again. It'll be a shorter show, though. At the moment, it's just planned to be a Q&A show. So an open door for you guys to talk about whatever you want. I'll come on here, maybe alone, maybe with someone else, we'll see, and just do whatever we want. However, if something big happens between now and then about any fandom-related stuff, the show could become about that quickly. And then Fandom News Now follows us tomorrow night. Big thanks to everybody. Check us out on Patreon, www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire. Join today, because that is the way. At Fandom Empire Now, Twitter and Instagram. Facebook's the Fandom Empire Den, Fandom Empire page, Halloween Newsnet, and all... just a shit ton of places. I need to get a graphic for it again. Big thanks to our chat mods, Frank Riker, Toronto Freddy, Jade, and then the other 3 chat mods who are on the show tonight. Kieran, Matt, and Tommy. Couldn't do any of this without you. Big thanks. We'll see you next time. Appreciate the support, everybody. Stay safe and have a good fucking night, because that guy right here, he's coming 6 months' time. Good night.